Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time we started case 4 with, not necessarily a bang, but with a stabbing, yes. As it turns out, some woman got stabbed and the, the accused perpetrator is this guy, Sasaki Natsume, a fellow Japanese man who's also here on a study tour. So yeah, we also met back up with who? Mail Strongheart, Tobias Gregson. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. We didn't get too much done. We just kind of got an introduction to the entire case. So yeah. Anyways, I guess let's just get started here, shall we? We're done talking with Natsume, so let's head over to the scene of the crime. See if we can kind of get any bits of evidence from now or something. 19th of February, Briar Road. Well, here's where it happened. So, this is where it happened. Briar Road.
Ah! Look, Mr. Naruhodo! Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak.
That is their job, you know.
But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, but I never dreamt I'd ever come this close. To a real Bobby's helmet.
What? The helmet?
Of course. I have to try one on one day.
Well, I hope your hatty dream comes true.
What's the Japanese delegation doing here?
Oh, Inspector Gregson.
This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware.
Yes, of course. We're here to investigate.
So, you've been to the holding cells then? What'd you make of the criminal?
He's not a criminal as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect.
We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose.
Huh. I like that they put something there just in case you went to the thing before.
Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens, sir, and the verdict's a foregone conclusion.
Ugh. The stone-cold air of rejection.
Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air.
That makes it worse somehow. Alright, so, what's the specs of this crime scene, Inspector? Oh, okay.
Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, I have been fascinated by the place.
The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am.
Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet.
It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city.
Oh, yes. Doesn't he look wonderful?
Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you.
Oh, really?
First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes round and rouses all the labourers on his beat, so they can get off to work.
What? He wakes people up?
Yup, raps on the windows with a long pole. Did it myself going back a bit.
I had no idea.
The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance.
Huh. Wow, actually thinking about it now, like, I've heard if you walk at a reasonable pace, then, what's it called? In 10 minutes you would have gone a mile, right? So then, what? 20 miles a day, 10 minutes a mile, that's like 200 minutes. But most people don't walk at a reasonable pace. Like, if it takes you 20 minutes to walk a mile, then that's like 400 minutes, which is 400 minutes. Closest we can go for is what? 400 divided by 60, so that's 6 hours and 40 minutes, I think. So yeah, that's basically a full day now that I think about it. Wow. I can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way.
Let me see. 20 miles? That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama. To Yokohama.
On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far.
And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps.
Oh my.
And I suppose between all those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well?
And chase after criminals trying to evade the law.
I'm not sure you could call it an in-between exactly, more alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit.
Yeah, that's true. They even have people at, what's it called? The British have stuff like this to this day, actually. If you recall, the Queens, or rather Kings now, Buckingham Guards, what's it called, have to stand outside, no matter how hot, no matter how cold, in, what's it called, that get up and whatnot. And they literally have to stand there for basically the whole day, their whole shift, you know what I mean? They're not allowed to move, not allowed to talk, not allowed to do much of anything. Heck, what's it called, if soldiers have to relieve themselves, they just do it in their pants. Or if one of them passes out, they just plop down on the floor. Randomly, too. Like, you know what I mean? That's awful. But it's kind of the same thing here is what I'm trying to say.
I had always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Me? Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. Okay, wow. Huh. Well, that'll be important a bit later. After all, why would they include it if it wasn't? Anyways, let's talk about the case itself, finally.
It happened at around 5 in the evening, 2 days ago, just there on that open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind.
Is it right that the lady is still unconscious even now? I mean, you mentioned she's being treated in hospital.
I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her after all.
Well, I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Yeah, she's been unconscious. Also, how do you get a knife to the back and you get unconscious? Like, I would imagine a knife to the back means that you're like, what? Well, not necessarily, maybe dead, but more along the lines of like, well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not dead per se, but I'm thinking more along the lines of, I mean, I guess unconscious, but like you'd still be conscious, but you'd be in a lot of pain, maybe.
Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want.
Really? Are you sure?
It's yard past you to give...
Sorry, I'm just measuring the pop filter here on my thing.
It's yard past you to give lawyers, defending suspects the odd bit of information to go on.
I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still.
Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept.
Alright, let's see this map then.
Anyway, As far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countryman.
Wait. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I thought they were talking about the same person. So that's what happened on, what, the right side of Briar Road, near Meerschaum and Calabash, huh? Okay. I kind of get... So it happened here. Alright.
So, who did it, do you think? Not much of a head-scratcher, is it?
Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming not to have seen anyone else around, but
just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present.
right, it was supposedly foggy that night, so...
I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure.
How?
Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah? What?
We have two very reliable witnesses, no less. It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them.
There were witnesses now? My word. Oh, we already looked at the map, that's right. Let's talk about the witnesses now. They're just all of a sudden witnesses that could see through the fog? Who were these witnesses, Inspector?
A fellow and his wife, and the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard.
A policeman? Yeah? What's gonna happen when we have to discredit him? Like... that might change things, yeah, because if we discredit him saying he's lying, then that's basically gonna be saying, oh, well, he's lying, then that's an embarrassment to Scotland Yard, or like, you know, he's gonna use Scotland Yard's name to be like, oh, well, if he's lying, then all of Scotland Yard must be lying. You know what I mean? That's just my take on things, but... Here, so I'm trying to fix the microphone, so I'm sorry if you hear it moving or whatever.
And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked?
Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching them banging the act and all that.
Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions?
Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow.
Oh.
I've no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So, that'll give you something to look forward to.
Sorry, it's just... voices like that kind of, you know what I mean, mess with my throat. Yeah, don't be surprised if I would have to pause recording just to get a sip of water. Oh well, that's that then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems.
A policeman witnessed the incident? As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed.
Yeah, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh, yes, one more thing, Inspector.
What?
The person who led you to the suspect, I hear that was Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
What are you bringing him up for?
Was it something I said? The color seemed so drained from his cheeks. Yeah, I'm trying to go closer to the mic and kind of speak like this, because it's like, you know, it's like Ryunosuke's thoughts, so... Well, let's talk about Sumo's trial first. I think the way these conversations goes, you're supposed to talk in order from up to bottom, so...
That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not?
Well,
Makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole.
because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean?
There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It is all a bit strange though.
Sorry?
The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court for a good few years now.
Yes, we did hear something to that effect.
And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals, the violent ones.
Master criminals?
The violent ones?
Why is he prosecuting this case? Oh yeah, he did say it was strange.
That's right. He handpicks his victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins.
But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely.
That's just my point, sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. So, this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase.
Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it?
No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest.
Really? What sort of reason, Inspector?
You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial.
Are we really gonna have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it? Well, that seems likely. I mean, he wasn't exactly the Lord of Darkness. I mean, sure he was annoying, but I could tell literally that like Van Zeeks is literally the type of guy to like plan everything out in advance and just wait for us to fall right into his trap. You know what I mean? Let's talk about Sholmes now.
Who did you hear that name from?
It was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings.
I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Sholmes' inspirational great deductions.
Fiddle faddle. The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere.
Oh.
I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case.
Yes, he is quite astounding, isn't he?
He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he?
Gibble gabble. Ever seen this before?
Oh, yes, that's Rancid Magazine.
The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes appears.
Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called Great Detective makes a mockery out of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Sholmes tale at all.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Because, imagine that. Imagine you live in a world where, like, there's just some great detective out there solving cases, right? The great detective in question would just solve the cases just like that, and it would make all of the real police officers look bad, because now it looks like they ain't trying hard enough. You know what I mean? So, Where was it now?
Oh yeah, we work our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped by the public, thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us as Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals.
That can't really be true, can it, Inspector?
Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Well, I don't think we're gonna get any more useful information out of the detective.
Mr. Naruhodo, can I make a suggestion?
Oh, yes. What is it?
Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this.
About who? By him? Do you mean Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, exactly.
Look at those shining eyes. You just can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all of this, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not.
Yeah, an involved party.
I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again.
The trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address even. So how...
It's Baker Street.
How do you know that?
It's in the stories, of course. 22-1B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world.
Susato? I don't know how to tell you this, but no, well, I'm not gonna say intelligent, but no normal person in their right mind would ever put their real address in a book. They might give you the state or country that they reside in, but never their real address. So, because they don't want people coming over to their house. Whatever. I mean, this is during the, late 1800s, so... whatever. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. We'd better try and find our way there before Susato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable.
Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage.
So, we're gonna have a reunion already. With the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Well, ain't much other places to go to, right? So, may as well head there. Alright, let's hear. Ooh, anime! Randomly.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Huh. So does he own this entire, place, or, just... like a room or something in it? Also, I want to highlight something interesting I just saw there. It's that Ryunosuke and Ryunosuke and Susato were drawn differently, if you notice. I'm not sure if this is my imagination or what, but Ryunosuke and Susato were drawn differently to everyone else. Because they're Japanese, so of course they would look different. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me kind of catching, maybe a trick of the light or something. I don't know, but that's just something I noticed, and I'm like, I don't know. That just kind of whatever. Anyways, 19th of February, 12:53 p.m. Sholmes' suite. So, this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels so real to be here somehow. Is it as described in the stories, Mr. Sato? Hold up! Hold up! Did we just enter did we just enter this man's house without him being there? Who opened the door for us? Was it already open? Why was the door already open? This is Great Britain, where there are pickpockets and thieves. Why was the door just already open? So many questions. Susato-san?
Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room.
Oh, I suppose they must have been. Yes. I never read the story, so it's hard to get quite excited about it as she seems to be.
The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, I suppose I can, yes.
So, if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please, don't mind me.
She's obsessed. Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present, which begs the question of why we're here. Whatever. I'm not doing that again, but you get the point. Like, excuse me, is anyone home? Oh, right. What voice did I give this character? That basically sounded the same as Susato's, I think. So, I think what I'll do
is I'll give her a brighter voice like this,
but kind of give it a bit of a British accent and tone to it.
Oh, do we have a visitor? Hello, is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes?
Hello? Wait, aren't you...
Oh, how rude of me. I'll go make some tea at once.
Yeah, that probably sounds still similar to Susato's, but whatever. I'm sure it's the same girl. Miss Susato, did you see the girl who was just here?
Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case.
She's somewhere else now. The, King of Bowaria?
King Wilhelm Gottfried Sigmund von Ormstein, of course.
Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Also, hold up. How did I pronounce that easily the first time? King Wilhelm Gottfried... King Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund von Ormstein. Or Sigismund von Ormstein. How did I pronounce that correctly the first time? Geez, I don't know if I was like some kind of language buff in a past life or something, but like, as long as I can hear it once, I can literally pronounce anything in pretty much any language. Well, I don't know that. I might have pronounced garderobe the wrong way. Whatever. Forget the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes for a moment, and look over there.
The tea's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well. Ah, it's you!
I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too.
Ah, there you are!
Yeah, from the end of the last case.
And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGillicuddy's trial in the defendant's antechamber.
I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London.
Oh, yes, it was challenging.
Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know.
Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color? I mean, tea is usually what, an orangish brown? Or, well, I mean, it depends on the tea, but eh.
Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray, it's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see.
There, I'm trying to squeeze my throat as much as possible.
You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have another ticklish trial tomorrow.
How do you know that?
Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck.
How do you know that? We literally just took the case from Lord Strongheart. How do you know that?
Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you?
Hurley? Mr. Sholmes to you, surely.
Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas.
Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, you think? No, is she Sholmes' daughter that can literally do everything better than him? like what's it called? What's the show called? Detective Conan, Case Closed, I think. Where like the actual detective can't do a thing, but the youngling is like uber smart and does everything. Well, whatever. Actually, it's surprising that show's going now. I think that's like it's on like 800 episodes. It's on that One Piece thing.
And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite? Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself, have I? It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. I live here together with Hurley.
Ah, Iris, is it? What a lovely name.
What?
What's the matter?
No, wait. This can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson?
What's the matter with Susato-san? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden?
Yes, that's right. And what are your names?
Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan.
Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. It's wonderful to meet you. Lovely, Susie and Runo. Got it.
Susie? And Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. Really? A Transformers reference? When she has like a steampunk vibe going on? I have so many questions for her. I don't know where to start.
Yes, and so do I.
Alright, well, I guess let's start then. Random, how old is she? 10-year-old girl? Wait, hold up, what? She has a degree in medicine? And she's 10? Yeah? It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey.
Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you very much. Oh no, not at all. I'm sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming.
Though at the time we did have a rather large gun pointed at us.
Like this? Ah, thinking back now, you left with Mr. Lestrade in tow, didn't you?
Oh, yes, that awkward witness Gina Lestrade.
Oh, Ginny? Yes, she's a professional pickpocket.
So we found out.
It was very naughty of her to pitch my invention like that.
Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption?
Exactly. So I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think of fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my inventions.
No, don't. It is literally way too easy to click a button and blow the whole thing up. This girl is dangerous.
Anyway, I put Ginny back here after that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician.
Sorry? Your technician?
Hurley, of course, silly.
Hurley?
Hurley? Yes, Herlock Sholmes. We live here together, in case I literally hadn't told you a few seconds ago.
I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter.
Daughter? Not likely.
What?
I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I?
You never know.
Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So, the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate.
Your roommates?
I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10 at last this year.
10? Yeah, bruh. Well, I said that earlier, crud. Well, what of your mother and father? Surely they don't want you staying with this random...
Oh no, they're not around.
Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. Okay then. Wilson, though. Well, Wilson, Watson, same difference.
Oh yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course, go ahead. I am a very great fan of The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes and... Oh, you have a copy of Ransom's magazine. Yes, I read every issue. Oh, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world.
My stories?
That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think? Goodness. Last night, he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land.
That's literally the case we were in.
So, I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript before the next issue before you came.
So you're
the author. Yes, I'll let you on a secret if you like. I'm gonna call this latest adventure The Speckled Band.
The Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar.
Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there. This time, I have the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble.
Oh, let me guess. A snake that can climb up walls, hear stuff, and drink milk? Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually.
Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but... it's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you? So, do you mean to say, are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Ransom's magazine all written by me? Yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter.
Ooh, yeah, typewriter. Oh god, how long does that take to write things? I mean, on something like a keyboard or something like that, you can literally type at whatever speed you like. Just because keyboards have something like ghost keys or whatever, that means you can type on another key whilst another key's already being clicked on. Which, I mean, you wouldn't think it's good, but like on typewriters, you literally could only type one key at a time, meaning you couldn't use multiple fingers as if you're playing a piano. You literally have to use one finger at a time. Let me open another tab here so you can hear it. Instead of being able to type multiple things at once, you literally had to just... and then, what's it called? Take out the thing every time. So literally, like, that is awful. Oh, like, that is awful when it comes to time. Seriously, how long does it take?
But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson.
Susato-san's getting more and more worked up.
Ah, yes, that's me. I mean, My name really is Wilson. But what about the Doctor of Medicine part? That's all true too. I am a Doctor of Medicine.
Yeah? No. At 10 years old?
At 10 years old.
Well, that's quite incredible.
But, Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Ah, yes. I did alter the settings slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow.
I mean, I literally just mentioned case closed. So, I literally mentioned Detective Conan, and they made that work. Right? Plus, actually, now that I think about it, what's it called? Having a show where, like, you'd have a detective solving cases, or, like, trying to solve cases while getting close to the truth by missing... You'd have a detective solving cases, doing great deductions, getting close to the truth, but would, like, miss slightly because they'd be off by some part that their child would have to, like, you know what I mean, solve. That actually would be a good concept for a show now that I think about it. I mean, I know Detective Conan is basically the same thing. Well, I mean, it's different, but you know what I mean, right? So, but still.
I suppose it does, yes.
Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world is just falling apart. Alright, sorry. I literally just felt like I couldn't breathe for a second there. So much talking. Oh well, I can still go on for a little more. Anyways, let's get to the actual fun part. The way she just deduced everything just now, having met us the first time. Seriously. About before.
Yes? What's on your mind, Runo? Do tell me.
How did you know that I was a lawyer? And we just arrived in London, I mean.
Yes. Oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all of that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted, although there's really no mystery. Now, let us begin. Iris Wilson is proud to present her Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. First of all, I already knew that you were a lawyer, Runo. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber.
But you'd also said we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that?
I observed a passport and a travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket.
How do you know those documents are literally a passport and a travel ticket? Those could be anything.
Oh, so I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs.
The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Then I noticed a red ink shape on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with the suspect, weren't you? Earlier today?
They put it on the back of your hand? Wow. I thought they would have put it on, like, your wrist or something, that way it's not noticeable.
They use those stamps to keep a close eye on the comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, that told me that even though you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded, the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face. So, I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case.
I see.
But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me he'd caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling.
A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been
Mr. Natsume. Now, Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me you both come from Japan yourself. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could have led me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case.
Wow. You literally got everything you needed to hear just from a simple walk in, hello, and hello, who are you? Like, seriously.
There's a note on the man's mantelpiece that says the trial will be tomorrow.
Man's mantelpiece. What, do I have dyslexia or something? Why am I reading wrong words all of a sudden?
Hurley is always stabbing his note with a knife, you know. Silly, he is silly. And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was this a winner? Were my deductions correct?
They were spot on.
That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction.
You even managed to discern something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery.
Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that.
This is really very good news.
You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please?
Alright, let's hear it. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man. You were saying? Okay, we're back. Sorry. I just got interrupted there for a second. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man. You were saying?
Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage, but the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene.
Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems.
Apparently a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking stooped man running away from the scene. A short, shifty-looking stooped man.
Obviously, Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt. Soseki-san said that he didn't see anybody else on the street at all, but it seems there were witnesses after all, which is odd because how could they see him through the fog? How could they see him through the fog yet he not see them? And they went to the point of giving a whole description of him, like.
Hurley used his great deductive powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly in there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking stooped man, shivering in fear.
Ugh. Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark that time.
Of course it did. He's a great detective.
Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it?
Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly.
Well,
Hurley says London is rife with crime.
oh.
Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it apparently.
Which is why they need to get more and more what's it called? Scotland Yard officers. Literally, if you get more officers, then you can delegate the duties. Have a select few do things like wake people up and walk the mile or whatever, and then have the next few investigate cases and whatnot. You know what I mean? That way, instead of having to do stuff alongside, you'd have people that are generally focused on that kind of thing. That way, they would do better instead of how it is now, where they're just doing I wouldn't say shoddy, but they're doing a pretty good job doing both, but tiring themselves out in the process.
Oh dear, I hadn't realized the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in courts. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system.
Yeah, they're greatest for a reason, but everyone works hard. I suppose it is. But in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Soseki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Cyrus. This has been very informative.
Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well.
Ah, well, I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene.
Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, Mr. Nuts... May? Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where those lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson while you were there?
Yes, we know Inspector Gregson.
Ah, goody. In that case... Give Gregsy this from me, would you?
Gregsy?
If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know.
What is this?
A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems.
Okay then. Bribing cops, are we, Iris, so that Hurley gets the famous treatment? I see.
It reads, "Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem." Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it?
Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try.
Good luck then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band. And I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, it's back to the scene of the crime.
Alright, fine then. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all, we headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. Oh, they just do that automatically? Okay. And I think this is a good spot to end things off on, so yeah. If they give us a save point, I'm just going to save and thing. Because I do want to at least show something. Part 2, okay, so that's fine. We'll just continue from there. So, let's kind of head back to the title screen, because I do want to show this. I did it for Van Zeeks. Actually, let me do that for once. I'll do one line for every character, just so you guys can know how they sound, you know what I mean? Progress is already saved, so I have nothing to worry about in that regard. Okay, let's see. Is my stuff good? Yes, okay, so We're going into 5, investigation part 2. Okay, great. Let's head into the auditorium. I may as well just show you guys everyone's voices. Well, not everyone's, I mean...
Objection!
Yeah, I mean, you always hear this and Susato's voice, I think.
Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense.
We already know Sholmes' voice. Oh, well, are we gonna hear Sholmes' voice? Whatever. I do want to look at Iris' voice. Is mine similar enough?
It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson.
Yep, nope. Nope, nope. Okay, yeah, no. No, that's not similar at all. Oh well. Anyways, next time we're gonna head into Mr. Natsume's apartment and see what we can find. So yeah, see you all next time.